Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Welcome back. Syracuse sputters in the final 90 seconds against North Carolina, and they are handed their third loss of the season. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you in fan feedback. And Syracuse will travel to Pittsburgh this Saturday at noon to redeem themselves from the 63-60 loss to the Panthers last week. Was it last week? Yes, it was. It was exactly a week ago.
Yes.
Today. So, a little bit of football news quickly. Joe, Nykeem Johnson, he was picked up in the transfer portal by Kent State. So, we wish him luck there. Syracuse tie.
Yeah, Sean Lewis, offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator for Eric Dungy's senior year, the year that we won 10 games, went to the bowl game, won against West Virginia. So, after that year, he got a head coaching job at Kent State. Hasn't been doing a bad job, and obviously familiar face, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably an easy choice for the both of them. So,
well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people paid attention to it, and I know the MAC didn't play that many games, but that offense put up a lot of points and numbers. So It really, really kind of makes sense as to why he's going there.
We'll get into the good, bad, and the ugly, but first, Coach, after the loss to UNC last night.
We did an unbelievable job tonight. They had a 10-point lead on us a couple times, and we just fought our way back and made really good plays. Buddy got to go in the first half. Q got to go in the second half. You know, our offense was good enough. We missed some open threes at the end when it was even. I think Q had one, and then Allen had one wide open. They could have got us back in the lead, but they're just too big for us inside. We did try to get back, and we did a pretty good job. We forced them into shots, but then they got the ball back. It was offensive rebound and points inside. They're a big team. They're difficult for us, and we have to play almost a perfect.
Jim, tonight obviously Barama was not able.
He's to not playing. Again. He's not playing. He cannot play. He cannot play. He cannot play. I'm not a doctor. All I can tell you, he cannot play. Well, he's just did an unbelievable job on the boards and defensively, blocking shots, making defensive plays. He's that's where Allen has to get back in there and help us a little bit more. Marek has got to be able to grab a couple of those rebounds. But, Quincy was tremendous. He got to the basket against really good big guys, finished against really good big guys. But, we just have got to be able to help him down around the basket area. We don't have a plan. We don't have anybody that can play that position. Frank's out for at least 2 more weeks. We're trying to develop Jesse in practice. A bowl is too small. He can't get it done out there. We're still working with Jesse every day. We're hoping that he can give us some minutes in there, but he's really the only alternative right now.
All right, the Coach Montage is brought to us by the title sponsor for the Cuse Militia for Armchair Media. That is Bet Online. Hockey's back, so look, you know what to do. Can you get to a hockey game? Maybe you can get to a hockey game. Maybe you can, maybe you can't.
Yeah.
But if you can, go. And if you can't, go to Bet Online. And if you can, go to Bet Online and go. Go there. They're going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to betonline.net today and use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. All right, the good, the bad, the ugly. Good. First, Quincy. You heard Coach. He displayed his dominance again. 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Buddy Boeheim with 18 first-half points to delete a 10-point deficit before the half. Unfortunately, he wouldn't continue to score in the second, but that would be it for him, but still good. Syracuse shot 47% from the floor as a team and went 10 for 29 from 3. Not bad. That's pretty good. The bad, 7 self-inflicted turnovers for the Orange, 14 total, 16 team fouls for Syracuse, resulting in 18 for 23 from the line for UNC. Gary A. would eventually foul out. Marek had early foul trouble with 2 very early in the game, like back-to-back, like 2 minutes into the damn thing. He had to sit for a little bit. Bad. The ugly. I think it's clear. Without Brahma Sidibe, I'm afraid it's going to be like Groundhog Day in ACC play right now until they get something figured out. There's one strategy for opponents, and that's battle down in the low post, and we're going to see it time and time again. UNC, obviously one of the bigger teams, but the Orange was still negative 17 on the glass. They gave up 42 points in the paint, including 24 second chance points. This, unfortunately, will continue for the foreseeable future, as Barama's absence, as you heard Coach say, it seems to be indefinite, so we don't really know when or if he's coming back. But we went from hopeful after the what was it? Last game. Georgetown game. Sorry. After the Georgetown game, we went from hopeful to he can't play. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Joe, I really have to hand it to this team, though, last night. When you look at everything on paper and, they kept it as close as they did despite the stat sheet. I thought the offense played good enough to win, in my opinion, even without Sidibe. But without him, we're outmatched down low, especially against UNC. It was ugly, and I'm surprised they didn't do more of it. They actually got away from it for a little while.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest teams that you're going to have those kind of problems with. Not every ACC team's that big. So we talked about it in the preview. We kind of knew it was coming. I didn't know that it was going to be. Obviously, when you see it, you're like, right? But you hit on it, man. The second chance points, the points in the paint. Just the fact that, we can shoot, 47% from the line or from the
floor. From the field.
Floor. But when the other team gets 13 more shots than you.
Well, they had 6. They they got 5 rebounds in a row at one point and had 6 chances to score, UNC, and did not. Mm-hmm. Syracuse got 3 offensive rebounds in a row, had 4 chances to score, and did not. So, I mean...
Yeah. So those are some situations where there's some padding of stats where nothing really happens. So I can understand that. But, again, 24 second chance points on top of the, 24 offensive rebounds, still got out-rebounded by 17. They shot off 11 more free throws than us and scored 9 more points from the free throw line than we did. And I think, we turned it over more than them by 3. So the fact that we were even in that game, to me, when I really look back at the stats and the box score, and again, like this is, if there's a game in the ACC that you're going to miss a true center, it's going to be this one. There's some good big guys on some other teams, but usually they're not this deep, and you can get them in foul trouble, or they're going to have to sit to rest and stuff like that. So you'll have some moments where you won't have to worry about this, but we saw it coming, and again, kudos for the team and fighting the way that they did. And obviously I'm excited because, if they're fighting and coming this close with this type of discrepancy in a certain situation or in a position, then just imagine what it's going to be like when Sidibe does come back and we can figure it all out. So,
yeah, and obviously that was the big difference. But, Buddy and the rest of the offense, I feel like Quincy took over in the second half. Buddy getting a little extra attention, and I mean, you're watching that game, and we were down by 1 with 1:43 to play. And it just, like I said, the last 90 seconds is what did it. We just sputtered and we just, too many mistakes, missed shots. The opportunities were there, but the shots didn't fall. Though, I mean, ifs and buts are candy and nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas. Q missed a 3. I mean, you're talking go and taking the lead. Unfortunately, it's just like that. I mean, that's it. Pretty much.
Yeah, you talked about the self-inflicting turnovers where it was kind of just on us. Yeah. And still, there are things that we can do offensively to even be able to combat this type of deficiency and actually win these type of games. You still, again, like you said, down 1, or we were up at one point. Kadari Richmond, he throws it away. We have some open threes we miss. Again, I still think a big thing is trying to get to the free throw line. I think we throw away a lot of possessions with either quick jumpers or
sloppy
just
passing,
not moving the ball around. Just sloppy passing. Just
holding the ball. Was it Jesse Edwards? God, he looks so lost out there, where he's just holding the ball, not moving or doing anything, like a panic moment. Like you're in there, man.
You don't want the ball.
He did not want the ball. No wonder his coach doesn't play him. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got other centers. Why don't we play him?" Well, guess what? That's why we don't play him.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you want to see? I don't want to see that. I thought that was a scary moment, and he turned the ball over.
Yeah.
So,
we got to clean it up, but I mean, we got to get to the free throw line more. I alluded to it last time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's been 3 games in a row now, so I think that again, it's just settling for bad shots and waiting, not moving the ball around. You can see their offense; it's fluid when they pass the ball around, when everyone's moving, they get some good shots, and the offense looks good, really good at sometimes.
And I thought the defense looked really good. It was really active in the beginning of the game. Everybody's footwork was going. Everything looked really active and good. And obviously we were tied 40-40 at the half. A lot to do with Buddy's shooting, but still, they knew what they needed to do. You can only do so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just got. Yeah, I think they got to run their offense through Guerrier. I think that coach is going to talk to him, and obviously Dolezaj. I think Dolezaj's got to be more aggressive. There's some times where I thought he gave up some. If he attacked the basket like he wanted to score, then
he had an open look.
He would have scored easily. Yeah,
he had an open look for a layup and kicked it out to Griffin, who missed a 3.
Right. And again, he would have easily been able to get that layup. And even looking at Quincy shot 9 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 6 from 3. Like, this is something that Jim's just got a pound in his head. He was going against guys bigger than him, fringe NBA guys, big guys. And you're talking about if you take away the 3-point shots that he took, he went 8 of 12 from the line. Yeah, 2-pointers.
As a team, we went 18 for 31 from 2.
Right, which is good. But I mean, personally, excellent. 8 of 12, he got 16 of his points.
It's 58%
down
as a
low
team.
Against those type of guys, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if he would have kind of taken maybe half of the 3-pointers and maybe tried to do something else. There's a lot of different things that you can look at, but to me, that's your go-to guy. If you need a bucket, you get it to him. You try to get him down low and make something happen. And Mark's got to be a lot more greedy on the offensive end.
Yeah, he does. When he has the ball, when he has opportunities, Mark's not bad from the line. I could check and see what he's shooting on the year, but Guerrier, he got to the line a couple of times. He's good from the line too. He needs to do more. 4 for 5 for him.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We're a good free throw shooting team. We should be able to take advantage of that. I mean, there was a one point, I think in the second half, where Joe Girard got the ball in the corner and got Sharp, I think, up in the air on a pump fake 3, and it's like all he had to do was just jump into him, and it's a free 3-point free throw, and he didn't.
Yeah,
and it's just like those are the little things that they have to realize. I mean, I saw it a little bit. Joe got fouled a little bit, dribbling, driving, trying to use North Carolina's defense aggressive, like their aggressive defense against them, but it wasn't enough. And we just, again, need to take advantage of the fact that we're a good free throw shooting team and try to get to the line a little bit more.
Mark and Joe are both 84%, and we'll talk about that more getting into the Pitt game now. It's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what to do at the end of every game. I'll ask for your thoughts. You leave them. We go there. We look at them. We pick some at random, and we bring them here, and we talk about them. So let's do Twitter first, and we'll do Facebook, and then we'll see if we got go back to the 2021 predictions. Knock a couple of those out real quick. At K Nabiwaniak, despite the terrible rebounding disadvantage, we still had a chance at the end until Jim Boeheim swapped out Richmond for Girard. JG3 is not an ACC level talent and drove to the basket twice and stopped without attempting a layup. Go up strong, young man. You played football. There was a couple times, Buddy did it too, man. Buddy did it too, where he'd get halfway in the lane, and but he had some assists on that where he kicked it out, and they were able to score on some of it. But yeah, I mean, we hit on it, Joe, last time, and we talked about how to be a little bit more, not to be so squishy down there. Just go up and do it. I mean, what's the worst thing that happen? You lose half a tooth?
Oh.
Come on. Tooth,
I think there might be worse, but there's
teeth are replaceable, man. George Washington had wooden teeth, bro. Okay? Mark's going to have far better
made of wool.
Mark's going to have far better teeth than George Washington's. Okay? They're not going to be wooden. I promise. At Bleed Orange 3, we need a true big man. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, we can look at what we've got, and, you can say, well, we've got these other big men in here. Why did we recruit them if they're not playing? And, I mean, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. Some of them are too young, and they're just not mature enough to be out there. The game's moving way too fast for some of those guys down low, and they're small. All of them are small. So, I don't know. I mean, they're not big guys. Not having Sidibe is a problem. We knew it was going to be a problem. We knew these guys weren't. Frank, I guess, he's looking at a couple more weeks before he can come back, and he's basically Mark's backup right now. That's the best we've got, and he's not in. He's not able to play. So anyway, let's see. Mark's
he should technically be a high school senior this year.
That's true.
I mean, he reclassified. So I mean,
that's right.
It's a situation where not everybody's recruited for showing up the first year and coming in and helping. So, 13 scholarships, it's deep. And a lot of times, you want to recruit for somebody who, as far as potential, where they might not have the goods to come in and help you right away, but 2 years of coaching and, bigger, faster, stronger, and a strength and conditioning program at a D1 level, he could turn into something. And
that's all about
I don't know if that's where
development.
we're going with it,
I mean,
it's all in development,
yeah.
But not everybody's built to come in and just help right away. And I understand frustration, but, our recruiting obviously is good in other areas. It's just I understand where they're coming from as far as the center position.
I do too. And we looked at these guys and we looked at the frame of a Jesse Edwards, and you're like, dude, this kid could be big when he hits the weight room. Look at this guy. And we just haven't seen it.
Right.
It just hasn't happened.
Well, I think there's fans that just look at us in as far as like kind of a upper echelon team where we shouldn't be able to have a problem being able to recruit a big man. I think is the way that they look at it.
Well, I think there's some truth to that. I do.
Yeah, there was times in the past that we didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you really look at it like, DeJuan Coleman, he was a high-rated player, even though he was a hometown kid. But Rakeem Christmas was a high-rated player.
Probably our
Thad
last.
Mello was high-rated player.
Probably our last really good one was Christmas, right? I think we've tried to go rack our brains and go back and think about that.
I mean, Chukwu had moments.
Yeah, he did. He developed a little bit.
Chukwu was good on defense.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
That's his thing. And
He
my
wasn't bad.
frustration
Injuries
with him was
again.
offense, but his
Injuries again with and
right, but
this
you go back
and
to,
that, the knees.
when you really look at it, right? But even when, remember those tough years where it was like we had Brissett Chukwu and Battle and Howard, and we were either not making the tournament or barely making the tournament, and it was offense that was the problem. We were still a top 20 defensive team, and that's what kept us in games, right? And is it just ironic that that was the last Chukwu? As soon as we lost Chukwu, all of a sudden it's like our defense is just falling off because we have not been able to replace that position since him.
Yeah,
I mean, CDB came on the last year, but again,
took him a while to
about
come
his
in.
injuries and stuff, right? So the confidence of him being able to be available all the time is low.
Mark's Tooth Burner on Twitter, starting center out against best front court in ACC. Joe Girard confirmed sophomore slump. Would love to hit the transfer market for a new center, but this team has a ton of fight, and the rest of the season will be fun to watch regardless. Look, some optimism in there. I like that. Joe Girard, still not consistent. I mean, I think we're all just waiting for that to be snapped. Buddy Boeheim's got 2 good games he's strung together. And, despite the second half, he still scored 18 points, despite not scoring in the second half, I should say. So the transfer market, I mean, obviously, that's not something that we're going to look at this year. The problem is what are we going to do this year? What are we going to do against Pitt? I mean, well, I think we know, right? I mean, we got Mark. That's it. Yeah. So that's your answer. So coach says, we don't have a plan, but we do. It's Mark. Until Frank comes back.
Right.
That's it.
Well, and that's, again, we're going to have to develop certain things because, not going to lie to you, like we talked about as far as Griffin and coming into his own and stuff, he's had some issues with some turnovers. I know that he's scored, and I know he's a good player. He's had flashes, but he's kind of the, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type situation. And it's just... We need to be able to, especially with tall teams or bigger teams, we need to be able to have those options to be able to bring in Braswell or Newton and still have the Guerrier and Dolzai if we're not going to be able to have a center available that's going to be able to compete. So I don't really know what the answer is because obviously people behind closed doors know a little bit more about Sidibe. It just might be a situation where he just maybe had a setback or maybe it's just taking a little bit longer to make sure that he's good to go so that we don't re-injure this thing.
Yeah, let's hope
that's really what I want. You know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I'm not going to say I don't care about rushing him, right? Like we talked about, maybe there's hopes of us having Sidibe when we play North Carolina again. Well, then North Carolina got pushed up a little bit because of, another situation with Clemson. So, schedule is going to be fluid. It's pretty obvious this year. So
yeah, it's going to be a gauntlet.
We weren't supposed to play him with him the first time, and we didn't play him with him this time, and that's okay. I think that we fought. I think that there's obviously better. We can get better on offense, and we can get better on defense. It's just I think lineups and just everything obviously. But you have to.
There's a lot of combinations though to use. There are some
That's
good...
That's the whole thing. Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just got to keep adjusting.
And it's weird, too, because like you said, he played 4 minutes. And by the time, it seems like to me, like by the time he comes back, it's going to be like half the season. Yeah. Most likely, right? Where he even gets back into shape.
If he even comes back, bro.
Minutes, right?
We don't even know. At this point, I'm not very optimistic. After the whole...
No, I mean, based upon Jim Boeheim's comments, yeah.
He sets my mood for those types of things, though. Like, right. And I know the game. I get the game. I get that. But he was not happy. It was genuine.
It's because I think
frustration.
Who asked the question?
It was Mike Waters.
That's why. Because he knows what type of questions. It might as well have been Stephen Bailey.
I know, but
exactly
Mike,
what they would have said. It was the same.
I feel like Mike's
thing,
a fair
right?
dude. I feel like Mike doesn't always ask those questions.
If you know anything about Boeheim, he does not want you to ask the chasing down the injury questions.
Well, yeah, no one does. No coach does.
Because he doesn't know.
Because he's not going to answer it anyway, and they should know he's not going to answer it.
But do you think Jim really stews about that stuff? It's not like we're talking about if like Carmelo Anthony had an injury. Like it's like he leaves it up to the doctors. Make sure you're 100% and let me know. He probably shows up to practice. Hey, can Barama practice? No? Okay. That's it.
Well,
he doesn't know anything.
I know, but my point is that People who ask those questions know they're not going to get an answer. They know what reaction they're going to get.
At this point.
Yes.
Right. At this point, yes. I think that's really what it is. I think really it's the Boeheim frustration of like, you know who I am. You know I'm not going to answer. You know how this goes. And you're still answering me, asking this question. Like, it's got to be over a decade.
Yeah. Way over. Mike's been there forever, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah. He was there when I remember him in high school, I think. He's been there forever.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, still seeing like how Jim plays his cards, like, would it be surprising to you at all if Sidibe actually played
next against Pitt? No, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
But he does set my optimism and pessimism on the whole thing. Like, whatever, he's hopeful. I'm like, yes. What me and James in group text yesterday, I'm like, look, I'm hopeful. Jim said he's hopeful. I'm hopeful. Hopefully he'll dress and be ready, maybe not start. And then here we are,
I just feel like, again, I'm not going to sit here and talk like I know Coach, but it's like I feel like just his kind of vibe is like, hey, whoever we got, we're going to go out and we're going to play. I don't care.
He's like flat out said that during that press conference.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. At Baptized by Fire 7. I think it's not 7. I think it's longer than that, but anyways, Dominic on Twitter. I have never seen a team give up almost 30 offensive boards and only lose by 6. Quincy is a first-round pick and took the game when the Heels locked on Buddy after his monster first half. And I'm tired of Griffin's bipolar play. Sometimes he looks like an MVP and other times he looks like poop. So, yeah, when you actually hit on that a while back, how inconsistent he is sometimes, even though like he'll score a lot, but like last night he had 6 turnovers. He scores 16 points. He's got 6 turnovers.
Out of position on defense, he gives up
wildly
sometimes, and stuff like that.
Yes.
So,
and
again, I think I would be willing to bet that if Barama never got hurt, then he would be obviously still coming off the bench and putting in 20 minutes, 22 minutes a game.
It's a possibility. Especially with the way Quincy's playing, but and I mean, Mark, the way he played, I mean, he threw him back in there with a broken tooth. He made him play for another 80 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's how bad we need him in the middle.
Exactly, yeah. So, but we need him, even if Sidibe was there, we still need him. He's still that guy.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
and that's
like
his,
I said,
if he's in his position, it's even better.
Right. And that's the worst part about this is that, like, if Barama doesn't come back and get back to full health or even full confidence as far as just how he was playing at the end of last year, like, you're never going to see exactly what this team could have been. Because, I mean, if you take Barama at the end of last year, come in and you put Doljai and Gary on the sides, like, yesterday doesn't go the way that it did.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
Now you have to figure
don't lose
out
against
the guard
Pitt.
position with all the other guys, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we probably don't lose against Pitt either. Yeah, so
no, I highly doubt it. All right, we will be right back after a word from Live CBD. All right, one more thing. You guys know the deal. Bet Online, the title sponsor for Armchair Media and the Cuse Militia. You might not be able to get to game this year, but you can still get in on all of the action at BetOnline. BetOnline is going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over there today, betonline.net. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR and take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. Like I said, hockey's back. We got basketball is starting to get into a rhythm now. College football's over, unfortunately, but you still got the NFL playoffs. Head over there, betonline.net. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR. Take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. All right. We're back. Okay. Mahir, top fan on Facebook. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Mark has got to be more greedy. Pivotal point in the game. Cuse leading 68-67. He dishes to Allen for a 3 instead of taking a wide open layup. Love Buddy and what he did, but he's got to shoot some more in the second. Lots of positives to take away from this loss. We have a really solid team, and they are unselfish. Richmond adds a different look on D, and it slowed UNC down when they led 67-60. Let's go get Pitt. Yes. Okay. Bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah. I was hoping you were going to bring this up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to let you go ahead and take it. I was just
saying. Well, no, I was just saying because it was a very,
I
thought a very good comment, right?
Yeah, positive. It's very, very good. Hit all the points.
When I read it, it was basically that. I think that's where I got when I brought up greedy. I wanted to bring it up and talk about it because I just agreed with this post so much because almost everything that he pretty much mentioned is how I kind of looked at the game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good observation.
Like all his points, I was pretty much right on board with. And it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I think so. We talked
10-day quarantine.
Huh? It's better than
as long as we don't get quarantined again.
Yeah, as long as
I'm just saying it's going to get better. I mean, we just need to keep it going. You said.
We need to keep this rhythm going, and as long as we don't get contact traced, that should be the only way these kids get put in some kind of quarantine if you're being responsible, right? Is from another team that we played. I think there was a little thing there was something that happened with Georgetown, and Syracuse didn't practice today, but today was their normal day off because they have to have that day. So that wasn't because of the Georgetown thing, but it was just because they had to take today off.
Here we go.
What? Conspiracy.
Starting the rumors.
No, I'm not starting the rumors. James put it on Twitter. He cleared it all up. So,
oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, Buddy. I mean, what Buddy did to close out that second half was phenomenal. I mean, you go in the locker room down by 8 or 10 and come out in the second. I don't know if they ever can recover from the way UNC started that second half, going up by, 6 to start. I mean, we called a quick timeout early in the second to regroup. So you come out of the half down by 8 or 10, and then you have them go on a 6 or 8 point run. Now we're talking, big time deficit. So
both teams were runs back and forth, pretty much all game.
Yeah. It was. And Syracuse was doing a lot of the catch up. I think we led at the most. I think we led by 6. I think. Yeah, I think so. 5. So anyway, Robert, top fan on Facebook. Well, UNC scored 42 points in the paint. We have a serious issue against true big men in this whole schedule thing. Played Georgetown Saturday night, take Sunday off, fly to North Carolina Monday to play today, and this was last night, and you thought it was going to be Clemson. This season is one of attrition. Yeah, it's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet. I'm just glad that we get to play it. I'm sure the players are glad they get to play it, and I don't think they care where they got to go or who they got to play or what day it's on or what time of the day it is. They just want to play, right? Mm-hmm. But with that said, it's a disadvantage, but it's almost an equal disadvantage to anybody who has to travel, because it's tougher on the traveling. It's more tough on the traveling team now than it is when you have the set schedule, right? That's fair to say.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think it's also fair to say that, I mean, unless it's a situation where you were game planning for somebody for a certain amount of time and then all of a sudden, now it's switched. But we pretty much found out, the day of the Georgetown game? The next day.
Yeah.
So,
something like, I think it was
they knew they were traveling anyway. So before they even got a chance, I mean, maybe the coaches who were looking ahead and looking at some tape and trying to look at the teams. But either way, you're looking at the teams and you're paying attention to all of them throughout the year anyway. You just kind of that week or that however many days you have to focus on that team.
Well, that's Coach Mack's job, too. That's mostly Coach Mack as far as the coaches go, scouting another team and coming up with that game plan. So that's got to be – it's tough on everybody. It's tough. So Jeff on Facebook, good effort. Not really, but really bullied on the boards. UNC shut down Buddy in the second half. Can't expect to give up 40-plus points in the paint and win. And I know that's to the point. I mean, if we would have pulled that game out, I don't know. All of a sudden rebounding is a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal, right? If they'd have won that game going negative 17 on the boards. I mean, but
you're talking about they would have. Okay, so let's just say Syracuse hits a couple of the threes, wins, and they end up shooting 50%. Are you going to rely on them shooting 50%?
No.
I mean, that would have just been a happening.
Oh,
yeah. As a matter of fact, that okay, we shot 50% and we beat this team that just had 24 offensive rebounds and 40 plus points in the paint and 24 second chance points, and they out rebounded us by 15, 16.
It's crazy though, because they didn't shoot terribly either. UNC. I mean, they shot 40%.
I was hoping that they were going to get tricked into shooting
more threes.
More threes than
they were 20%,
but they stuck 21. To their game plan. They're getting it to Brooks and getting it to the guys down.
Oh, we got killed by Brooks and Baycott. Yeah, 15 points and 16 points respectively, and 22 rebounds between the two of them.
They both had double doubles.
Yeah, yep, they killed us. Absolutely killed us. And they did let them play a little bit last night, and I kind of like that.
Some of the calls.
On the rebounding, I know when you're a foot taller than the next guy in front of you, when you're both going for a rebound, it seems very clear that it's not over the back. But some of these, were ridiculous. So, they let him play for the most part. It wasn't terrible, but,
And even like the foul at the end, when we hit the three and then we put the press on and Buddy barely touched the guy.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, that was like the sinking moment, too. Unfortunately, sending him to the line there on that. But it is what it is. Top fan Jesse on Facebook. It's frustrating that we always have to have Buddy or Joe out there. Through 10 games, we've learned these two are inconsistent and bad on defense. But Jesse always banging on the guards, man. And we have others that can play. Buddy had a great first half, but then didn't do poop. Imagine a lineup consisting of, all right, tell me what you think about this lineup. Going to go by the numbered spots. Kadari at the 1, Griffin or Woody at the 2, Braswell at the 3, Quincy at the 4, and Mark at the 5. This is the lineup without Sidimi. He said this is super long, athletic, elite defensive lineup that can score without shooting threes. It's sad this team will never reach its full potential. We could probably be a top 10, 15 team if we adjusted. What do you think about that? I like that lineup for certain. It just depends. You got to have Buddy or Joe out there, though.
Obviously, it's a situational thing, and I know that people talk about they're not ACC level or D1 level. I don't believe that. They're both high level shooters, and Buddy can kind of create his shot a little bit better because he's 6'5", right? So, but I think Gerard's got a little bit better handle, but that's what hurts him on defense because he's a little bit shorter, and that's kind of where Buddy's a little bit better. So I don't necessarily think that his starting 5 would be the best starting lineup. I just don't think there's a way you don't start Buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Buddy has to start. Buddy or Joe's got to be out there, I feel like.
I don't know if it's a Buddy or Joe situation.
Buddy.
I just think that Buddy.
All right, well, whatever.
I think Buddy's. I think we saw it this past game where he hit 2 threes in a row and then came in and had another jumper. Like he is. I know Joe scored all those points and everything, but he's an elite shooter. That's just it is what it is. He can get hot and he can just hit. And even when he was missing them, they were in and out. They were rolling out. They weren't. It wasn't far away from going in. So I do believe, though, that we can definitely put a starting lineup out there that could be better defensively, absolutely. But that's where you kind of have to balance out your starting lineups, because if we were to take this team and put out the best defensive lineup, I feel like most people would kind of get a little bit of realization and find that we would have a very, very tough time scoring.
Yeah. All right, let's do one 2021 prediction at DRadzits on Twitter. He says, buy, sell, or hold, Joe. We're back in the Dome for football season next fall.
Bye.
Okay. We've done this one, but we're going to reiterate. Bye. Syracuse football goes 9-3 and undefeated at home. Buy, sell, or hold.
Sell.
Okay. Well, let's hear your way too early prediction. We don't even have a schedule or nothing. Just shoot me something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have a schedule.
You don't even want to play
very,
the game.
very difficult.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I'm going to go 6-6.
I said bowl game. I don't got a schedule, so that's fair enough. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, look. Syracuse is going to play Pitt for the second time in a week and a half, okay? And it's awesome. It's a game I don't think we should have lost. I think that this game is another, for me, dude, it's a must win, I think, and it's another win that we need badly at this point. Syracuse currently sits 41st in the KenPom rankings and 43rd in the net after the loss to UNC. The Panthers are 76th in KenPom rankings and 63rd in the net. That makes this a quad one game for Syracuse on the road going to Pitt. Side note, Pitt will be again without Justin Chimpagni on Saturday. So he still has that LCL issue he was dealing with. I think he had surgery. The all-time series now sits at 73-46 after the 63-60 loss 1 week ago today. The starting lineup was Gerard, Boeheim, Dolzai, Guerrier, and Griffin. Alan Griffin had 15 points in that loss. Boeheim is 5-1 now against Jeff Capel since he's taken over Pitt. And look, here's the thing. This is the last game. The Orange only got to the line 5 times in that loss. Okay, that's got to be more. Joe Girard needs to get to the line more. This kid's been to the line so far this year 19 times in 10 games. 19 times in 10 games. He shot 89% last year total, and he was to the line all the time. He's got to get there. He's a good free throw shooter. He's got to get there. He's shooting 84% this year, a little bit worse than last year, but he can pick it up. Joe and Buddy in that game were combined 6 for 23 from the field, 4 for 18 from 3. They totaled 16 points. Q got 4 shots off. He totaled 5 points against Pitt. Obviously, we're not going to see many games like that from Quincy. If Quincy has a better game against Pitt and everything else still happens that was terrible in that game, we win. So this is a winnable game. Quincy's got to play better. If you get Joe or Buddy playing better and you grab some more boards. By the way, we were killed on the boards against Pitt, too. 42-29.
49.
What'd I say?
What? 49-33.
Oh, you got 33. I got ESPN totals 29. That's what it says here.
No, well.
Okay, wow.
49-33, but they had 20 offensive rebounds. So, again, that was kind of the same situation that we're looking at now.
KenPom has 33. So what do you think, Joe? It was a bad game for Syracuse, bro, and we still almost won it. We led the whole game, and they just blew it at the end. It was a bad game for Syracuse. It was terrible. They just have to play a little bit better somewhere. There's a lot of areas to improve.
A lot.
Yes.
Like, between Alan Griffin and Joe Girard and Buddy Boeheim, they shot 7-27 from the three-point line. And the only thing that saved us to even being close to shooting 32% was Braswell's 4 for 5.
Yeah, that was his
Quincy's
game.
1 for 2.
That's right.
So, again, obviously Braswell, they've all played against each other, so they're all going to kind of know a little bit about their matchups and things that they can do and get away with. And we're obviously going to have to worry about the big guy there, Brown, that did some things at the end of the game. And like you said, Guerrier doesn't fall out. We know what Braswell brings. And I know that, wasn't that the game that Richmond barely played, or was that Georgetown?
No, it was both of those games.
No, Richmond
did
19 minutes.
Yeah, okay. He had 12 points too. Yeah, it must have been.
I mean, again, it's just shooting better, like you said. Buddy 3 of 12, Gerard 3 of 11.
They did switch.
Griffin 6 of 16.
They switched Richmond out when that was the coaching decision that we didn't understand towards the end of that game. That's what that was. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where we talked about him being in at the end. So it's learning the team. People learning how, like, if people are hot or not. And obviously it's crazy because we talked about it because, again, it's like a tale of two halves or a tale of two games where you have Gerard does nothing against Pittsburgh or just has a bad game and people just kill him, right? And then he comes back and has the game he has against Georgetown, and we probably wouldn't have beat Georgetown if it wasn't for him, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we turn around and have the game last night, and it's like,
what's their big guy, Brown? What's he size up? Because I remember this team. I remember this team's
6'10",
not
235.
This team's not very big. I think they had him, and I'm not really sure who else. But they're not very big as far as height goes. Height advantage. I mean, he's got
Kulaby 6'8", 215.
Okay,
those are like the two tallest guys. Everybody else are guards.
Well, Dole's got a couple inches on him, but he's got about 40 pounds on Dole, but 35, 40.
Right.
That one dude's got some weight on Dole, but Brown. But this is a game where shouldn't affect us as much, but I mean, on paper, I just feel like it shouldn't. And no one.
Yeah, I mean, it's ineffective offense. We wasted so many trips on offense. That's
terrible.
Really what it was.
Just terrible.
But I'm looking at the box score of Pittsburgh, and I'm still trying to figure out how we lost. I mean, we got to get
we got to the line 5 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we shot 80%.
Yeah, that's awesome. 4 for 5. Yeah. So, like we said, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but it's the truth. I think at this point, that's got to be part of your strategy, is getting to the line. Good free throw shooting team. Got to get to the line. Not going to grab as many rebounds. This game may be a little bit different in that aspect. I think that they can close that gap up. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was by, what was it, 10, did we say? I don't understand why ESPN, for as big of an outfit as they are, Ken Pom has the more reliable stats most of the time. It's
just weird in this situation because, like, it really honestly just comes down to if you can play defense and you can just play get in a good quality shot, like, not just settle for, like, don't just take crap shots. Like, if you can just do that, then half the time you're gonna be in the game. Most of the time you're gonna be in the game.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what kills me with this is, like, looking at this Pittsburgh, we just took so many bad shots, so many forced.
Joe took a lot of bad
Gerard
shots.
Threes. There's a couple people that took a couple bad shots.
There was, but Joe was the glaring one in this game. I just remember just being really freaking frustrated with him. This was the game 2 for 8 from 3. I was so frustrated with Joe until I looked at the actual box score and I was like, oh damn, Buddy was 2 for 10. I had no idea.
Right. Well, the problem with that is that Buddy missed a bunch that were open and just missed, like, in and out, just like this last game. Joe was hucking up 40-footers.
Yeah, I know.
And just quick shots. And I don't want to say waste of offensive possession because obviously sometimes he can hit them,
Yeah.
I mean, Joe is going to be the ultimate. What do you do? Yes, it went in.
Yeah, it's the one where you cringe when he throws it up, but if it goes, you're like, hell yes. Awesome.
Get ready for it.
Yeah.
For the next 2.5 years, 3 years, like, that's what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy because sometimes he makes them and it's like, damn. Yeah. And then other times, sometimes he's what he is in Georgetown, and other times he is what he is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Georgetown, not a bad game. It's mediocre. He can do better, though. So, anyways, we'll see. I look for Syracuse to get redemption. It's tough to beat a team twice, and I just don't think Pittsburgh's. Yeah, we have to. I mean, I just don't think Pittsburgh's that good of a team. I'll say it again. I know they beat us, but we played horrible. That was probably one of our worst games of the season. Probably our worst game of the season.
No, yeah,
was
and
that Pittsburgh game.
I think we were around 30th, something like that, in the
29th.
Ken Pom when we played
29th or 30th.
29th. And they were around 90-ish, something
80,
like
it was
that,
like
I
88,
believe.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so now they're up to 76. We're down to 41. And the funny thing is they haven't played a game since we played them.
Oh, really? So, they haven't played a game in a week, huh?
Both the games they had were postponed.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't, and ACC couldn't figure out, a solution to trying to get a game in there. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens because we played 2 games since then. I don't know if that helps or hurts us. I want to say it helps.
I want to say it helps. Like I said,
especially when you come off of playing those big guys against UNC, you're going to walk into Pitt. You're going to be pissed off because you probably thought you should have won the first time.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, we just went against those guys. You guys are nothing.
Yeah, they're going to look like pipsqueaks compared to Baycott.
Those guys like I went against Georgetown, lost a tooth, and then went against North Carolina, who's got 3 big guys that are like crazy, just big.
They're great.
They were good.
They're good, dude. But they got those 2 guys.
No, the 2 or 3. The one young guy, the true freshman there, he showed some potential, but he just got in foul trouble.
Yeah.
He's going to be a problem, too. So,
yeah. I mean, that
North Carolina and their bigs all the damn time.
All the time. They're a problem. They're always a problem. They're always going to be a problem. That's just how Roy Williams is. He's a problem, So, anyway, all right. Well, look, we thank all of you for joining us tonight or today, whatever time you may be listening. Also, thank you to Live CBD and Bet Online. Thanks for your fan feedback. We appreciate all of you who participate in the fan feedback so much. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.